I don't like where this is going. Stop! Stop! No, 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 no. Please, Larry, you don't understand. You don't know what you're doing here.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Austinator and Angry CareBears Talk Movies. This show, well, we just review movies.
Yep.
And I figured, we both decided that we were going to start out this show by talking about none other than the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Yes. It's
an
odd series. I've never seen a series rapidly change so much other than like the Resident Evil games. I mean, it hits the mark on everything, like comedy and action and horror, and then bad and good and mediocre. It's got it all.
I agree. And you know what? The movies we're going to be reviewing 7 of like the main line films, and then there's also a crossover film that we already reviewed on the channel, which has over 4,000 views, by the way, and a remake.
Yes.
We got Sour Kraus in the house. What's up, Sour? And we got Jack's Law. Thanks for coming, guys.
What is popping?
And actually, this franchise also spawned a couple video games. It spawned comic books.
And it's in Dead by Daylight.
That is true. So this series is influential, I would say. Like, this is easily like one of, if not the best horror franchise because of how influential it is and how like it changed the game essentially. Because without this movie, the horror genre wouldn't be the same.
It's not just a slasher, it's a psychological horror film.
It is. And you know what? I think it was very, very good. I actually watched this before the stream on HBO Max, by the way, which, if you don't have HBO Max, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I had a very long day and I couldn't, but I still remember the many times I've watched it, and it is good.
Yeah, this movie's amazing. I mean, it has its problems. There's no such thing as the perfect movie, but
there's no such thing as the perfect anything. But yeah.
But when we're talking horror films, my God, this was great.
Yes.
But before we begin, though, Angry CareBears, where can they find you at?
You can find me on YouTube at Angry CareBears or on Twitch at Angry CareBears 2. I finally streamed this week, even if it was one time. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
And you can also find her twice a week now on my channel, Tuesdays for Austinator and Friends Talk Pop Culture, and this show on
3.
Saturday.
Yes, Tuesdays at 3 or 3:30, depending on who we're waiting for.
Exactly. And Jacksaw says, and the glove was cool for a costume. The glove was indeed very cool.
He's got the iconic look. Yes. I never thought striped sweaters would be tied to a horror icon, but hey, they made it work.
Oh, it was excellent. And I actually want to start by saying this, just like how creative this movie is, because, before this movie, you had Halloween, which I still think Halloween is still one of the best horror films of all time. But with Halloween, it created a bunch of fucking clones, like Friday the 13th and many others that are basically the exact same movie. Silent Killer, Night...
I watched Halloween 2 late in life. I only just recently watched it, so it can't scare me. I'm so desensitized. I watched it way too late in life.
Well, I mean, I think, because I still think it's a very well done film, Halloween, where it had that atmosphere to it, and of course, Jamie Lee Curtis was great.
Yes,
but
definitely.
The problem is with those types of movies, they're kind of bland when you really think about it, because it's the same film.
Don't get me wrong, I liked Halloween. It's just because I'm late to the party, I personally found it really slow and kind of boring. Don't get me wrong, there are things I like. It's just it felt really slow when you watch it after watching all these other horror films. It's just when you compare it, it just seems like it's not as good. But it is. Don't get me wrong. I do recommend it a lot. It's just I'm so late to the party, and that's what screwed over my experience.
Yeah. But I also want to say, though, too, but with the Nightmare on Elm Street, it was like a breath of fresh air. And Wes Craven to me, had a really, really good idea for a film like
it's not just a slasher, like I said. You know, like it's not silent killer. He's funny. He talks. He doesn't shut up, actually. And he goes, like, he doesn't like teleport like Jason or appear in your windows like Michael Myers. He goes to you when you're most vulnerable, and that's in your sleep. You know, like, you can't fight back in your sleep, especially in dreams, where he's God in your dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Wes Craven is an awesome horror movie director. I mean,
oh yeah.
When you're talking about somebody who's made, like, he's made fucking Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, like, I think Wes Craven to me is very underrated today because people are like, oh, but there's movies like Saw and The Conjuring and Texas Chainsaw.
Oh,
but without
dude, The Conjuring sucks. Don't bring that up here.
Well, I'm just using it as an example, but
I heard that Wes Craven got this idea. Now, I don't know how true the story is because, you know, I found it on BuzzFeed, but I do trust this specific account, if you know what I'm talking about. Hey, how you doing, my fellow BuzzFeed Unsolveder? Is that when he was a kid, he was in his living room, and a random guy just walked up to his window. And that was it. For some reason, that spawned the idea of Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know how or why. I don't remember the full story, but that's it. And it's just like these like crazy ideas. Just they spawn from weird things, and that's what I heard. And if that is true, that's crazy. What was that dude standing in someone's window staring at a little boy? Who knows?
I can actually confirm this because this was actually a part of the documentary part of the because I have the box set of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, it was like that, like it had like that case where it's more like I don't know how to describe it, but like inside the thing, it's like you had all the movies, and then like you had the thing of Freddy with all like the cases, and it created like that image like that. So it's part of that documentary disc. So I can actually second that and say that's actually true.
Nice. Well, the best horror stories always come from real life experiences. People try to say that the real life story is that some kid woke up with cuts or whatever in his sleep, but it's like, I don't believe that. I'm sorry. That sounds so far-fetched, unless he's like a sleep cutter. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it sounds a little weird, but I mean, hey, without that story, Nightmare on Elm Street probably wouldn't be what it is.
I don't even know if that story existed before the movie, or it was just like, you know, trying to get people to watch the movie. But either way, it's interesting to hear.
Yeah, and you know what? I gotta say, Robert Englund, the guy who played Freddy,
he's so fun. I love him.
Amazing casting. Yeah, Robert Englund's awesome.
He's so much fun in this movie.
Oh, he is. He's amazing in all the movies he's in. Even the bad ones. He's
even the bad ones. At least he's funny. You know what I mean? Like he just delivers all of his lines great.
Yeah, and even in this film, what I liked about Freddy is that this film does Freddy perfectly, where you do have that mixture of, he's not really supposed to be a funny character because he's supposed to be dark, and they get the dark
he's supposed to be like dark his comedy is supposed to be more of mockery than it is comedy.
Yeah, so like the Joker, kind of.
Yeah.
Where
except the Joker's actually a clown.
Yeah, but like the wittiness of Freddy actually gives him kind of like a personality, because before this, characters like Michael Myers, Jason, and many other,
they're just there. You know, they're just scary.
Yeah, they just stand there and they're just like, we got a knife and a fucking, machete or whatever.
Yeah, we got a sharp thing, but what's something cool about this is it's not just some everyday weapon. This is something he crafted specially for himself, is the finger gloves, and it's always iconic. I have a necklace with it on it, and I love it to death.
Yeah, dude, the glove is fucking awesome. I mean, when you're talking about like really cool like horror movie weapons, I mean the glove's just awesome.
Yeah.
And what's up, Shane? Good to see you, Shane Bellantoni. It was good for its time.
Oh yeah, there are some things that don't hold up. Like some of the special effects and like it's CGI at the time doesn't hold up. I will get that, but like for the time, it was mind blowing. Especially the ending there. Even back then, it sucked. Is the blow up doll going through the window? I'll give it that. Like that's one thing I didn't like. It was because it looks so stupid. Like even back then, people thought it was like atrocious.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get into our negative aspects, because that actually is a negative aspect of mine.
It's a negative aspect for everyone.
But before we get into that kind of stuff, I want to give like a quick premise of the story, to people who haven't seen it. And guys, just want to let you guys know it is a spoilers review because this movie is close to 40 years old. So
it's so insane to say
by now. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and
when I think 40 years ago, I think of like the 60s.
Like this movie, even though it's so old, it ages a lot better than the fucking remake did.
I just thought it was mediocre, but the CGI in the remake does not hold up. But overall, I just thought the movie was mediocre. It's one of those movies that's like, it's fine, but it shouldn't exist. But I'm glad they do because I like the character Quentin. That's it. That's the only thing I took from the movie.
Which we will get into that when we talk about the remake.
That's weeks from now. That is going to be like, 10 weeks from now? 9? How many movies are there again?
So there's 9 movies.
Why do I keep thinking that there was a sequel to New Nightmare?
I keep
thinking there's another one. I know there isn't, but I keep thinking there is, and I don't know why.
I don't know. Well, I think maybe because it didn't do so well at the box office.
For no reason, because it was brilliant.
It was a really good movie too. What's up, Kavari? Good to see you. Yeah, but I lost all interest after Freddy vs. Jason came out. Understandable.
That Freddy vs. Jason. Oh boy, I can't wait to talk about that. It's a bad movie, but it's so enjoyable.
Oh well, dude, I can't wait to talk about Freddy vs. Jason. I talked about it before, but it's gonna be
so bad it's good. So bad it's good.
Pretty much. So the basic story of the film, again, it's kind of what we said earlier. Teenagers and their nightmares. And so the main character, well, I guess one of the main characters, Tina, she's like the first one that gets hunted down, and Freddy kills her, which then Nancy becomes the main character. And so they're kind of going after each other. Freddy's trying to kill all these kids, like the teenagers, and Nancy's like, I gotta stop him. And then she ends up stopping him, quote unquote, in the end. But, I mean, I think that's the plot. I mean, unless... Well, actually, no, I should probably talk about this here. They reveal that the person that's going after him in their dreams is actually Fred Krueger. Even though he's called Freddy Krueger, they call him Fred Krueger in the film. And the basic, reasoning for why he's doing this is because the parents hunted him down and burned him alive because, well... apparently he was accused because he was killing kids, which, yeah, that's exactly what he did. And they're like, and because he fucked up.
Yeah, they didn't have a good search warrant. They messed up the search warrant. He got away. Judges got famous. All the lawyers got rich. He got away scot-free. So the parents took justice in their own hands and burned him in a building. I mean, pretty valid, actually.
Pretty fucking, pretty extreme, but understandable.
Nah, man, you kill my kid, I'll burn you alive, too. That, for legal reasons, that's a joke.
Yeah, that I will just say it is a joke. And I will say, though, the casting for this movie was actually pretty good for a horror film.
Yeah, and I won't lie. There are some parts in the film where the acting's a little. I remember, there are some scenes where Heather, her name's Heather, right? She plays Nancy. I can't remember that.
Heather Langenkamp.
Yes. Okay, I was right. There are some scenes, you can tell she's still new to this, or so some lines aren't delivered too well. But by the end of the movie, she's really good, and because she's not in the second movie. By the time she's in the third movie, she's absolutely great in that one.
Yeah, she is. I will admit some of the acting is a little green at times, meaning it's not
There's a lot of them are still new. I know this is Johnny Depp's first movie, I believe. Was it his first movie or his first Hollywood movie? Either way, he was still pretty new.
Johnny Depp, who's that guy? Have I heard him in something?
I don't know, man.
I don't
know. He kind of looks like a pirate.
I mean, he just looks so familiar, And oh shit, we got Thomas in the house. At least I think it's Thomas. A singular
man with no life whatsoever.
Ayo, shots are popping outside my house, and I can't make the difference between fireworks and actual gunshots. Please help.
Well, damn.
Shit.
I'm gonna send you my condolences.
Well, I put in your slang for you new kid. Sheesh.
Oh no.
Kavari quickly says Conjuring franchise versus Halloween.
Halloween. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, I never got into Conjuring, so I'd say Halloween.
Supernatural can be good, but that's not it. It's just a jump scare fest. It's not good. It's just the first Conjuring, dude. Okay, this suddenly turned into a Conjuring view. It is so boring. I don't get why people are like, it's so scary. My cousin's like, oh, put on The Conjuring because we saw it on Netflix a few years ago. We put it on, and me and my other cousin, we were just sitting there, dude. We were 40 minutes into the movie. Nothing happened. Me and him were like, bro, this is awful. It's so boring. Anytime something spooky is gonna happen, it's either a bad jump scare or nothing happens. There's just nothing. And it's not even a psychological thriller or anything where it makes you go, oh, maybe it's not really haunted. No, it's just boring, and it's based off of a hoax of a story, based off a true story of a fake story. That also makes me mad. Therefore, movie sucks. I don't care. I'm out.
Damn.
I mean, I don't hate the movie, but it does not deserve the hype it gets.
All right, so I'll stay away from that.
No, you should watch it so we maybe could review it in the future. But it's so overrated. And they're trying to pass this as a true story, as if the story they're basing it off of wasn't debunked multiple times of just a publicity stunt.
Damn, really?
Yeah, they had pictures of the girl jumping off the bed, and they're trying to say, oh, a demon's making her levitate when she jumped off the bed, and there's photo evidence of it. But it's okay.
Damn. Well, then, I might give it a watch, but at the same time, I might not.
Give it a watch so we can rant about it.
I might. So, I basically told the basic story. So, basically, it's hunted down because the parents killed him, so he's killing the kids.
Out of revenge. No, yeah.
Nancy, and actually, a kid, Rod, gets accused of murder because Freddy kills Tina, and then he's like, oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
Because his blood's all over her because he woke up to her screaming. And it's one of the most iconic scenes. It's so well done. It's so cool. It's she's getting lifted up to the ceiling. She's rolling around the wall, and he's staring at her in terror. And then it ends with It's just 3 scratch marks, like from his claws. It just go across her chest, and he can't see him, and we're seeing through his point of view. So all these scratches just appear, and she dies, and she falls to the like bloodiest room you'll ever see because she's getting tossed around it, so blood's going everywhere. And he's staring in horror, and he's covered in her blood. So, well, the cops aren't exactly gonna believe that, hey, yo, my girlfriend was floating around and she just died, man. Believe me, bro. So the cops obviously arrest him. After he goes on a hiding, actually, because I remember he jumps out at Nancy, and her dad's a cop, so that's fun. So he catches, so he gets caught very quickly because his best friend's dad is a cop, and even his death's pretty crazy to watch because a lot of the deaths you never like watch Freddy do it. You watch it from the real world's perspective, so it's like it just looks like a ghost is doing it, which technically it is.
Yeah. And the one thing I like is that the parents don't believe, the main characters.
Like, who would? Your sleep-deprived kid who's probably on something because, they're always worked up. They're constantly drinking coffee, so, like, they're not getting their sleep. They're always high-strung, and they're saying, yeah, this dude's in my dreams killing me, guys. Like, who's gonna believe that? It's not until this brilliant idea, actually, when Nancy steals his hat, his fedora there, and brings it to the real world, then her mom believes her. But because her mom's a severe drunk, she goes back to not. So, yay.
Yeah, and it's a very well crafted film to where you're pissed off at the parents because you're like, fuck, believe her, damn it.
But, yeah, you don't get that anymore. Now you're just like, I'm here to watch them get killed, like come on. Yeah, like, give us back good characters.
Yeah, it's like the characters are great, and the way like they have the characters die, they're done in such creative ways.
Yo, yeah, like there's nothing like it. Like, yeah, there's no other kills of a girl getting killed by a dream demon, so she's just floating around before she gets her chest opened up. Like, you will automatically know what movie that is from.
Yeah, and also it's the same movie that had freaking Johnny Depp get sucked up into the bed, and then
that's another great kill. Dude, all the kills are good except for the last one. It's quite stupid.
Oh man, fucking Freddy going on top of well, actually no, that I think you're talking about the last.
That's the second. Yeah, I mean that one's kind of it's really dated as well. So like when you watch it now, you're gonna laugh at it, but like back then it was like, oh, that's really disturbing. It's still disturbing. It's just because the effects are kind of cheesy. You're gonna laugh.
Yeah, because freaking Freddy gets on top of her because at the end of the movie, it's kind of like Home Alone, where Nancy sets up all like these booby traps.
Home Alone before Home Alone.
And then freaking Freddy's like set on fire, and so Nancy like locks him in the basement. She's like, "Dad, come out here! Like I got him." And then it's revealed that Freddy escaped, and he's like, "Oh shit, my mom's upstairs." And Freddy goes upstairs as well. And Freddy's on top of
because they follow fire footprints. All right, first of all, the fire footprints looked so cool. Just saying.
And so Freddy's on fire, and then like he's on top of her, so I guess she's on fire as well. And then Nancy's dad,
she becomes a
played
skeleton.
by John Saxon, who's great, by the way.
Rest in peace, you amazing man.
R.I.P. Yeah, John Saxon was fucking awesome.
Oh, he's so good. I think he's like the best actor in the entire movie. I get because he's got more experience, but I mean he's just genuinely that good.
Yeah, he is really good. I'd say him, England, and I would even say Langan.
Oh yeah.
Job. All three of them did an amazing job in this film. Like everyone else did fine. Like for a horror movie, it's very well acted.
Yeah, they're a lot of the teenagers. They're genuinely young too. So like I think some of them were teenagers still. I could be wrong, but they were pretty young still, so they're new at this. But for their like first movie or first few roles or whatever, they did pretty good, you know? Some sour lines here and there, but overall pretty good.
Yeah, like some of the acting, like I said, is a little green, but I will say most of the acting is very, very good. And yeah, the ending was fucking stupid as well.
Oh yeah.
We'll get into that when we get into that. But I guess we could talk about all like the things we liked in the film, if you want to start with that. So
yes, all right. So the practical effects were great.
Yeah.
For the most part. So like both of the mom's deaths were like, those were the practical effects are either dated or they never looked good. So like her dying on the bed, like her skeleton and all looked good, but it was like really weird, and it was disturbing because he was on top of her, killing her and stuff like that. Yeah. But when they descend down in the like fog and lights, and then it just fades away, it's definitely dated, and it makes no sense. Like, they never established that he can pull things into the dream world, like from the physical world, like he can just take you when you're in your dream. So like that also didn't make sense. Like, Mance can just like warp a bed and take her body. Okay, it didn't make sense to me. But and the end, obviously, I'm pretty sure it was really rushed because it wasn't supposed to be the ending, but they wanted a sequel. Well, I mean, the studio wanted a sequel. And she gets dragged through the window and she turns into a blow-up doll, and it's like awful. I remember like the first time I saw that, I laughed so hard. And like the doors locking and closing, I thought that was pretty cool. The practical effects for over Nancy's bed, where they're pushing through the latex and he's coming through the wall, it's so cool. Now you might think, why is he if he's like a dream demon, why is he interacting with the physical world of her wall? Who cares? It looks cool. You can just pass it off as her dreaming. I don't know, but it's dope. Okay? And I thought was super cool with Johnny Depp's character, I think it was Glenn, who, when he dies, he gets sucked into his bed, and you just see blood spray everywhere. It's kind of stupid, but really cool at the same time, because it's like, dude, how much blood does this dude have? But I thought was really cool in how they did it is they just flipped they built a room and flipped it upside down and just like sprayed a bunch of blood down, but they filmed it upside down, or like flipped the image, whatever. But I heard, and you can see it in the movie, it's kind of funny, but it's still cool, is if you look in the corner of the room, because the room was slightly tilted, you can see the blood like water falling down the walls and the ceiling area because they messed up that. But I still like that. I don't care. I thought that was really cool. So like the practical effects are probably definitely one of the best bits.
Well, one thing I would like to bring up is actually the music. As the music score, especially like the sting, the infamous Freddy sting, where like at the beginning of the movie, you hear it throughout the entire movie, to be quite honest with you, but it also creates like an atmosphere to the film.
Yeah.
And, like you said, for a psychological horror film, it has like that scary element to it where the music creates an atmosphere, and you also don't know what the fuck is going on, because this movie is basically being like, it's basically fucking with your mind in a sense.
Yeah, because it's like, are they asleep? Are they not yet? You don't always know, because like sometimes you think you're watching, like,
and it
Nancy
makes you
actually get attacked, and then she wakes up, and it's like, oh, so that was a dream. It's one of those movies that I can like forget, like. So when most movies are like, oh god, the main character's in trouble, and they wake up and it's like, oh, it was a dream the whole time. It's so stupid, but it makes so much sense in this movie. Therefore, it can't ever be that stupid unless they overuse it. Because, well, it's about dreams. Even if she's in a dream and it was all a dream, she's still in danger. That's the twist on it. And that's why I can forgive it. Because no matter dream or not, dude, you can be messing with the audience. That doesn't change the fact that she's not in danger, even in a dream. So it's like, we don't know if she's like actually gonna die or not, you know, instead of just waking up and go, oh, we're all good. It's no, she was in a dream. She's gonna die now. She's more apt to die.
Pretty essentially. What? Because I think it was like I think I said music. Like you said, I agree with you. The practical effects for the most part were really well executed. I love like Johnny Depp's death, Glenn's death was great. Even Rod's death, I thought was like, fuck, that was actually really well done.
Because they just like, oh, it's a suicide because that's what Freddy did, and there's no evidence to prove otherwise. Because he's a ghost. There's no fingerprints or anything.
And all the nightmare sequences are so creative and inventive that it's like,
yeah,
I like that. Like
Tina's when like he's like messing with her, and shoot, didn't he like? It was like with a dog, right? Dude, I cannot.
So like the first one had the dog, and like his arms were like extending outwards, you know.
Yeah, like, it was like really cool because it's a nice chase scene, and it's not stupid like Friday the 13th where it's like, oh, he just teleports. It makes no sense. In this one, it does because he's in a dream. He controls everything. Nothing in dreams makes sense ever. So he can just teleport all around. So it's like no matter how much she runs, first off, it's a dream. You're never gonna run fast. Second, he can just do whatever. The only reason they don't always die straight away is because they wake up before they do, or because he's toying with them. He doesn't want to kill you yet.
And like so also during that nightmare sequence, he was like cutting off his fingers, and
like,
the green blood was coming out.
Yeah, it's just like it was just so iconic, and then it leads to her iconic death that I gushed over so much.
And I believe also in this nightmare sequence where like she grabs his face, like the skin peeled off and it showed like a skeleton of sorts. I was like, holy shit.
But it's still cool. Good, you know? Like it's creepy. Because it's like, oh, no matter how much this dude does not feel pain. So it's like, how are you gonna take out a creature that you're gonna rip his face off and he's just gonna laugh at you, basically?
Pretty much. And you know what though? I will say though, like before we continue with like talk about the nightmare sequences, did you notice like this was something that I kind of found out like not too long ago, but you know, at the beginning of the movie, Freddy's voice is different compared to his voice at the end of the film, where at the beginning it's more like normal and crazed, but as the movie goes on, he becomes more like darker and more like demonic.
Because he's like, I feel like because he's getting more power hungry by killing these kids.
Yeah, and also because kind of like how it plays off at the end of the film, where like because Nancy was giving him like so much fear that he became more demonic, more
he's like literally thriving off it.
That's exactly what it is. And I thought that was a really cool idea that I wish they brought back in the sequels, because his voice is more demonic in those, but because that was a really cool thing that this movie did. I and then actually going back to the nightmare sequences as well. I don't know if it was in the first one or like a later one, but like when he cuts open like his chest and it reveals like the maggots and stuff. Yeah. I was like, ugh, that was gross. But I was like, damn.
Yeah, he does not mess around.
What's up, Bone? Good to see you. I'll get to you guys' comments towards the end, guys. I apologize, but I'm gonna, because we're both mostly done with the review, I would say. Because we're right talking about like the things we liked, and then we'll get into the things which, honestly, when it comes to the things I don't like, there's really not a lot. Like,
much. I already said the things I didn't like, to be honest. Like, you know, some of the practical effects, some of the acting. There are some things that don't always make sense, but you kind of ignore it because it's cool. So it's just like, whatever. You know, it's not stupid, but like, you can enjoy it. So like, I already mentioned things I didn't like. It ain't that much.
Exactly. I believe the nightmare sequence in the school was awesome too.
Especially because you didn't know she was asleep. You thought she was just going to the bathroom until her friend like turns into Freddy or like the hall monitor there. Where's your hall pass? It's so cool. And Tina's body and the body bag getting dragged. It's so creepy and it's just mad good. And then when she gets to the boiler room, the iconic boiler room, and like the way she wakes herself up with pain and she starts waking up and she's screaming in class and all and scaring everyone. It's just so well done. And one thing is a small thing I thought was cool is her gray hair. Because with all the stress and lack of sleep, it is possible for your hair to turn gray. So like I thought that was just a cool little detail they added.
You know, and you know what? Like before we continue on with this, it's actually kind of crazy that this movie's budget was only like $1 million.
Yeah, you can do a lot if you're creative enough, and they truly are. Nowadays, they can't do anything with $100 million because the thing is, it's not the money; it's about the minds.
Exactly. But yeah, that like. And then I think like the third nightmare sequence took place with Nancy. Like I think this was the first one at Nancy's house where like Rod was in her room and she's like, "Stay on guard while I'm asleep." And then he's just like, "Okay." He's not like paying it any because he's like, "Bitch is crazy."
Yeah.
So you had that, and of course, you know, and also just the one where, that's where you get the steps with like the Bisquick. Because that's what I believe Wes Craven used to do those steps was like Bisquick.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, and it looked cool as well. I'm like, shit.
It's like the craziest things can look so good in movies. Like here's a fun fact. In Night of the Living Dead, because the movie's in black and white, they use chocolate syrup for the blood. Who's gonna tell? It's black and white, and it looks good. It's all syrupy and gross. Like it's cool. Like. If it works, it works.
It probably tasted good too, so you know.
Yeah, I know that they were eating raw meat, which didn't taste good. Yeah, they were eating raw meat that they got from the butcher shop too, so that probably didn't taste as good. But chocolate syrup and stuff getting in your mouth, not a bad thing.
Yeah, not a bad day at the office. Not gonna lie. Oh, and there's also the iconic phone scene as well, where
where his tongue sticks out. Yeah. When I was first talking about like when she was actually asleep, that's the scene I was kind of referring to because it's like the tongue sticks out and like, wait, what? And then she wakes up and you're like, oh, okay. Because like that's the part of the psychological things. It's like, are they asleep or not? So are they in true danger or are they going crazy? You know, like
exactly.
Cool. You watch these poor teens get psychologically tormented and they're losing their minds because they're paranoid for right reasons and they're getting no sleep. When you get no sleep, you kind of go nuts, man. You start hallucinating. So who's to say that some of the things we see aren't them hallucinating because they know what Fred looks like and they think they're seeing him? Who's to say? Are they truly asleep? Are they hallucinating? You know, it's small things like that.
Exactly. And I guess like and then also the last like action sequence, like with like the booby traps at the end. I thought that was cool.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Who the fuck is these?
Bruh.
Who the fuck is this? Sour, is this you?
Homie, how did you get this?
Yeah, it has to be Sour because no one else can get the fucking link.
How did he get the link? You sent it to me.
Well, because Sour owns the... Dude, seriously? We're in the middle of a review here.
Well, that was interesting.
Don't appreciate.
Yeah, that's why when you see someone with a name like that, don't let them in. Don't let them in.
Well, that was weird. Anyway.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But yeah, no, the last action sequence was great. The characters are cool. Like I said, I just like how likable the characters are. Like Nancy, you feel for her, and honestly,
but
you're
like
you want her to win.
Back in the day, with a lot of characters, like even if they're not like in-depth characters, you still root for them because they're going through these awful traumatic things, and it's like they don't deserve this. I want them to win. But like in this movie, they actually get more personality than what we're used to seeing. So we feel even more for them, and we root for them even more. Nowadays we don't get that. Not only are they shallow as can be, in terrible writing, they're also assholes, and you want them to die.
Precisely. And like Nancy's a likable character. Like most of the characters are likable. Like the parents, I'd say they're not technically likable.
But the thing is, it's like if your kid came to you, because it's like nobody's really gonna believe that on the spot, especially when your kid's got the suspicious, like unhinged behavior, and you genuinely think they're going nuts. Like if they're not sleeping, they're constantly staying up, and who's to say, like if they're acting like that, you might assume they're on drugs, and they're saying that, you're gonna assume, okay, you need help. There's no guy, he's dead. You said Freddy Cougar's coming to get me, and you're like, that guy's dead. He died basically when you were a baby. So it's like, I don't know, like I can understand why they are the way they are, but I can also understand why people wouldn't like them. So I can see both sides. It's just I see the parents written as, well, realistic parents, But it would have been nice to see at least one parent believe their kid. But we only see two parents. Glenn's and Nancy's. And even Glenn's parents, like they basically, like his dad kind of like said, yeah, that nutty girl, he basically believes that she's off her meds or whatever. I think didn't he say something about that? Like, oh, that girl's like off her meds or something like that. I could be thinking of something else, but it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, he's a jerk, but he just wants to protect his son from the unhinged girl. He doesn't get what's going on.
Yeah, and I like that because, like I said, that makes sense.
Yeah,
anybody in that situation,
like if I get a phone call,
thing.
And this like crazy kid's going off about, oh, your son falls asleep, he's gonna die, and this kid's acting like completely bonkers, I'm gonna go, yeah, okay, buddy, what kind of drugs are you on? You know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna believe it, and I get that. It's not until it's too late, and that's the tragic part, is no one believes it until it's too late. It's kind of the point of Freddy, is like he's so scary because it's like, oh, when he's after me, now no one's gonna believe me. It builds this world and feeling of just utter helplessness, because it's like, if no one else is gonna believe me and he's gonna kill me in my dreams and I can't sleep and people think I'm crazy, the only thing you can do is die or find his weakness like Nancy did.
Precisely. I think that's all like my positives, because I think I said everything.
Yeah,
I guess the last thing I could say is the opening where you see him build his glove and then chasing Tina.
That is cool. Like, so you how
I thought that was a cool opening, and it actually,
it's fun to see. Like, it's fun to see his weapon get built, because it's also like, oh, so he's crafty, therefore he's gonna be pretty smart, so he can outwit and outsmart these teens.
Exactly.
I just like small little origin stories too. Yeah, I think
we talked about casting, all that stuff as well.
Yeah, we mentioned the music.
Let's talk about the things we didn't like.
I already did, so it's all you.
The only thing I did not like is the ending.
Yeah, that's what I said too. So it's like, I'm done talking. I said everything I could, so like, it's all you. I didn't like some acting, but that's forgivable. Some practical effects don't look good. The ending's kind of bruh. That's kind of it. That's really it.
I agree with you on the things I didn't like, because I'll be honest with you, there were things I didn't like in this film.
There always is in film.
Right, yeah, but it's really just the things that you touched upon. It's like a lot of some of the practical effects don't age well, but like I said, like
that's
some
the
of them,
best they could do at the time.
Yeah,
Except
like some of them,
even at the then, it was still bad. Even then, but they were on such a time crunch, man.
Like some of them don't age well because again, I blame that more so because of age.
Because of the time. It's because of the time.
Yeah. But I will agree, like that ending part, yeah, that was rough. Which the ending itself was rough, which I'll kind of explain why. Because the basic thing was Wes Craven just wanted it to be a one and done film. He was just like,
which it should have, but I can forgive that it's. But I'm kind of glad it's not, because it gives you so much more Robert Englund as Freddy, and it's just a wild ride that sometimes you can't help but just sit there and laugh. Like, even if you don't like it, you can still like laugh at the bad jokes and make fun of it, you know?
Exactly. And so Wes is like, I don't want to do a sequel. And then freaking Robert Shea, who's like the head of New Line Cinema at the time, was like, oh, we need more sequels. And then Wes Craven's like, no, just shut up, leave me alone.
Go away.
So the two are fighting, and of course, the original ending was them, Freddy dies, and then all her friends come back, and then that's the end. But Robert Shea's like, no, we need more sequels, Wes Craven. Give me more sequels. And Wes Craven's like, no, leave me alone, you crazy man. And so basically, I guess he got forced by executives to make that ending where it leaves it open for a sequel, but at the same time, it didn't need one. Because while it left it open for a sequel, in case if the movie either failed or they were just like, nah, we're not going to go forward with it.
Kind of ambiguous in that sense. Like, it's in that sense of like, okay, so he's not dead, but are they really dead or not? And they made it very dreamlike, like almost as maybe they're dead. Maybe it's another dream. Maybe they're not really there. Who knows? It's ambiguous. And that I can respect the ending for. The way it was shot and the way it was filmed and how it ends. I think the only thing I didn't really like about the end sequence is literally just the practical effects and the fact that it should have been one and done, but at the same time, I'm glad it's not. But I do respect that effort was put into it being ambiguous.
Yeah, I mean, I like the ambiguous ending. It's just I preferably, if I was doing it, I actually would have went with Wes's idea because, again, you don't know if the movie's going to fail or not. Because if the movie doesn't do well and you leave like an open-ended ending, it'd be like, well, what the fuck,
Yeah, now you're going to wait for sequels.
Because it did so well.
Yeah, because it's new. Of course it did well. It's new and awesome.
But the way that Wes did it made sense, leaving it open-ended, but at the same time not, leaving it open-ended to where it's like, oh, a sequel's definitely happening. But, so that I liked. The problem was, the way they did it was just it just looks bad. Like, the blow-up doll, that was horrible.
That looked awful.
But
I do like the dreamy
I like
camera.
the little girls doing the...
Yeah, how it's like
I like
clearly
the
a dream.
Girls. Yeah. I like the little girls doing the jump rope as well.
Oh, yeah, they're iconic. They're so iconic.
But the dreamlike sequence, like with the camera, I thought that was a good touch. And also just having Freddy stripe on the hood, on like the top hood of the car, I thought that was great too.
Yeah.
So I like that part but I mean, there's really even the ending. It's like I don't mind the ending either. It's just the way it looks for me.
Yeah.
But that's more like a nitpick, because otherwise, I thought the movie's great.
Yeah.
I really can't shit on anything with the film.
Now we just got comments to read and then our final score.
Yes, so I think we got like 10 minutes left. So we can do this. We can do this in 10 minutes.
Just read the comments, have discussions, and then our final score.
Okay, so Freddy's scary because we all must have at one point in our life seen that creepy guy.
Oh, you mean the creepy guy who everybody sees in their dreams? The dude with the bushy eyebrows. I is that who you're referring to? I think, because if it is, like, I've never seen that man, but I know about the internet. No, it's not real enough.
It needs to be more. It needs to be more than just a jump scare.
Exactly.
Jump scares are fine if executed well, but
they rarely are.
Don't want jump scares.
It's like, I don't mind jump scares, like you said, if they're done right. But the thing is, they never are. I prefer like psychological horror or terror where it's like, wow, this can happen, or it's like, wow, if I'm just thinking about how this dude can come into my dreams, that's terrifying. He doesn't need to jump out and go boo. That scares me for half a second. That doesn't stick with me. You know it's scary when it sticks with you. And this movie sticked with a lot of people. And I thought it was, even though, because I watched it when I first watched it, I was like 14, so I was kind of desensitized. It still stuck with me in the sense of, wow, that was a really cool idea. So like, even if it's not scary, as long as it's good and it's cool and you really enjoyed it, that can always make up for it being quote unquote not scary, especially for people who are desensitized like me.
Pretty much. It's fucking cool. I knew Kool-Aid Man had to do with it for its time. It's a crackhead's nightmare. Okay, but there is undertones of the gap between teens and their parents. And the movie pushes fuck the adults. I wouldn't necessarily go that far.
It was just more of like, the adults do have hardships too, because they're stuck with the fact that, like, a man's death's on their hands. I can't remember if they killed Freddy themselves or it was their parents, but either way, a guy's dead because of them. Well, they knew these kids he killed, and because they were like mixed with it, they probably, they're probably growing up and trying to think, oh, he's not real. Stop trying to bring up past trauma. They're probably also, I always wondered if they were agitated because they don't want to talk about it either. I never got the like whole adults suck kind of thing, especially because of Nancy's father. Like, I thought he was great. Like, yeah, he didn't really believe her at first, but he came in to help. Oh yeah, there was so much blood.
Yeah.
Especially Glenn's death.
Oh, there's a lot of it. Let's see here. It's always rushed. Who do you think enjoys killing kids more, Freddy or Jason?
Freddy.
Both.
Well, I mean, like, Freddy's whole thing is that he killed little kids. Now he's going after teenagers. So, I mean, like, Jason never killed a little kid. There was a movie where he went up to a little kid. I think it was it Freddy? He goes to Manhattan or something, where he sees a little kid and he just ignores the kid because he's not that evil.
So please, someone tell me, can a woman be Freddy? And would anyone buy it?
Probably not, because Freddy Krueger is only known as this guy. You can't just, like, it's just changing things to change things, and it's pointless, and it's not needed. No, I wouldn't buy it, because it's like, okay, you did this for what?
Exactly.
Part two, to me, it's like, it's interesting for sure. It's not one of my favorite movies, but I definitely respect it in the aspect of it pays homage to the first movie. It's letting you know it's a sequel. It's carrying on Freddy. But it is its own thing in the sense of new characters.
Pretty much. Jackson says, cool. I like the third one the most. Yeah, 3 is awesome. I love 3.
Yeah, a lot of people.
It's actually my favorite Nightmare film, besides this film.
Nightmare.
For a long time, feels that nowadays every movie will be moved on sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be more or less scary if Freddy had a Care Bear on his sweater?
Obviously, it'd be terrifying, my guy. Care Bears, they're so spooky, man.
Pretty much. All right. So
I need that now.
With the soulless Care Bears aside, yes. Do we need like a T-shirt with
Yes,
Freddy
I want
wearing
fan art or something of him with a CareBears sweater. Just do it, please, someone. If you are hearing this, draw it. Make sure to make the Care Bear angry. Make sure to make the Care Bear angry so I know it's for me.
All right. So now it's time to give our final scores. Do you want to do this out of 10 or do you want to do letter grades?
Out of 10.
Or do you just want to do both?
We can do both. It's easier that way.
All right. I give it a 9 and I'll give it an A because I think this movie, it's great. Like, you can't top this film when it comes to horror films, because as a horror film, like, this movie, it's influential, but it's influential in a good way. Like, it's a fantastic film, and I think the problem is with the remake, and this is something that I'll talk about when we get to it, but I'm just going to say it here. The reason why the original I prefer over the remake, and I know you probably do as well, but one thing, the problem is with the remake is trying way too hard to replicate the original.
Yeah, I kind of got annoyed with it, but it's like, I like some of the new aspects it brought in. I just wish I touched up on it more.
Because, and I'll even bring this up, because with Friday the 13th, it's like, when they did that remake in 2009, even though it wasn't a great film, I respect it for trying to do something different with it, because it felt like, while it was respecting the source material, it still felt like its own film, whereas Nightmare on Elm Street felt like it tried way too hard to just be the same film, but they added different enough things to where it's technically different, but there's so much similarities to it that I'm like, you might as well just watch this movie instead.
Yeah. Like I said, I just watched it because, like, I mean, like, one of my mains in Dead by Daylight, I got many, is Quentin. So I'm like, all right, might as well watch the movie. And he's the only thing besides, like, the micro sleeps I thought was cool. Like, I thought little things here and there were pretty cool. And he was kind of, like, the only character I liked. Because, like, he felt like a teenager, while everyone else just felt like, you know...
adult.
They felt like, dude, the blonde chick, Chris? You meant to tell me she was a high schooler? She looked 30! Him and Nancy were the only two who actually looked like teenagers, and Nancy was boring. All you could tell me is that Freddy liked her, and she can draw. She's so, like, even, like, Mara playing Nancy, so boring. I thought Quentin was the main character the whole time, dude, because he felt more genuine. That's, like, another huge problem with the movie. Is, like, the main character felt nothing like the main character. I thought her boyfriend was the main character, because he felt like, because, like, the actor was actually putting in effort.
Exactly. Yeah, Boney gives it an A- out of 10. Good score.
Yes, cats are nice. So I give it the same grade, actually. You took my grade. Thank you. I was going to give it an A and 9 out of 10. It's like, yes, the movie is great, but because some things are a bit dated, it can give it some setbacks, but don't let it from stopping you from watching the movie. It is a great movie. So, yeah. Please watch it. You won't regret it.
We got LDG in the house. What's up, LDG?
What is good?
Let's see here. But that's cool. Sometimes when you don't know who is the one that's gonna die. Yeah, like, that is the one thing I like about this film, is that it's there's like the twist in who the main character is gonna be, because
because at first you thought it was Tina, and then she dies. You're like, wait a minute, that's not our girl. I like how they focus on everyone equally. You know, so it's not like, oh, so out of nowhere, this random chick's gonna be our main character. It's just, you know, all of the characters equally. So, like, it could switch off to anyone, and you're still gonna be invested.
And now Bones says, I want to watch it again. Meow. Don't fall asleep, kids. Jack says, like, stay up all night and check out LPG. I like that plug. Very, very nice. Well, with that being said, we just hit the hour mark and we reviewed the film.
But Austin needs to go to sleep. He's an old man.
Yeah, I'm a boomer. Now I have to go to sleep. But yeah, no, unless there's anything else you want to say about the film.
Nah, I said everything I could. I repeated myself multiple times too.
Yeah, because to me, like, there's even though like there's so much I like about the film, it's like because it feels more like I don't know, like because there's so much that I like.
We go through it so fast because it's just like there's so much we like. We go through it so fast because we already know what we're gonna talk about. We don't take time to think. We're just like, yep, this is what we like, this is what we don't. Okay, go watch it.
And Anzo, what's up, Anzo? Good to see you. But yeah, I think that's it. So next week will be Nightmare 2, Freddy's Revenge.
Yes.
Where, what the fuck is he getting revenge on? Does he get revenge on Nancy?
He doesn't, because Nancy's not there. It's just some kid named Jesse. So what is his revenge? I guess because he's back? Oh. I think he fell asleep on the mic, guys.
Fucking internet, try to pull this shit.
Yeah, I was like, hey, guys, he fell asleep.
My fucking internet, god damn it. I hate it.
Honestly.
But yeah, no, like I said before, is Freddy gonna get his revenge on Nancy? Will he get his revenge on someone else? Will he get his revenge on his high school bully? Will Freddy even be in the movie? We'll find out. And no, not Freddy versus Jason. What the fuck am I talking about? Freddy's Revenge, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Last comments for the night. To be honest, Freddy versus Jason, when he turned into a worm, I thought he was a walking turd. Shane said it was awesome. Jackson, that's your show. Yeah, thank you guys for coming in.
It is my show. Thank you for coming to my show, guys. Oh, tune in next week to my podcast, mine, okay? Because Austin fell asleep. You lost your rights. Ever heard of you move your feet, you lose your sleep? Well, you fall asleep, you lose your show. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines.
But yeah, no, I want to thank everybody in the chat. Jack Slaw, Shane, Bellantoni, Anzo, Bone, LDG. We had, I think, Sauerkraut was in the chat, Kavari as well. We also had Thomas in here too. That I like, dude. Thomas being here was awesome. We'll go around the panel one more time, let everybody know where they can find themselves at. We'll start with you, Angry CareBears. Where can they find you at?
Whoa, I can't believe I'm first. It's not like there's like literally no one else here. I feel so honored. Anyway, you can find me on YouTube at Angry CareBears or on my Twitch at Angry CareBears 2. I rarely stream there, but I did stream once this week, so that is a step in the right direction if you want to check me out there too.
Awesome sauce. Yeah, no, just check me out on my channel. I have 175 subs last time I checked.
Yep.
5
last
away.
Time I checked too.
5 from 180. So, just go check me out. I got a bunch of shit, on my channel.
I hit 371 today. Everybody go make new accounts and go subscribe to us.
Yes, do so.
Destroy the algorithm.
Yeah, destroy this set algorithm. And, we do a bunch of streams on my channel. Shadowline Sundays whenever I get to it. This Monday will definitely be a good old wrestling where, actually, this week we're going to do something new. We're going to review old school pay-per-views because, fuck it, the new product sucks. I want to talk about old shit.
Yes, and on Tuesdays, our pop culture talk, we will be reviewing episode 5 of Loki.
Will I like this episode or am I going to fucking hate it? We'll see.
I'm going to say you hate it because you did not like any of the other episodes. But I guess we'll see until Tuesday.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And also Friday and actually Saturday. I don't even know when the fuck I'm doing Splash Talk because I have to move it to another day. But But Saturdays, you can definitely find me here for Austinator and Angry Care Bears review movies. Next week, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. And actually, just to let everybody know, we do have Spotify.
Yes.
Austinator and Friends are on Spotify as well. Where
Go check us out.
The most recent episode recently just went up a few days ago. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Episode 9 is officially up on the Spotify, and then episode 10 will be released Wednesday or Thursday, depending when I update it. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up. And you can just find me everywhere on basically everybody else's channels, like the Real Review 3000, Chaos Central, JJ, aka Sithlord 3827, Ninjoy 243, Zach Axiola, basically everywhere. Bone, before we wrap it up, can you skip part 2 and go right to part 3?
No, that's not how we're doing it here.
Yeah,
we're doing it in order.
That's not how it works.
We're doing it all in order for when they come out.
Exactly. But yeah, no, and then just check me out on Austinator at Austinator17 on Twitter, and also follow the Chaos Central Twitter. I'm probably gonna link this shit once we end it, because I don't even think I have anything in the description. Oh wait, actually no, I do have shit in the description.
Ooh,
I actually have the Spotify link, your channel, Chaos Central, and the Chaos Central Twitter. Yep, so I think I got everything down, unless I fucked up.
Well, you can always go back to editing.
True. But yeah, though, that being said, though, guys, thank you guys for watching. This is the Austinator and Angry Care Bears signing out.
See ya!
Later, everybody.
Anti-life is found, Assad, and we will stop it.